Chapter 18. Clear my mind, you say? I exclaimed. When I saw the other man wasn't remotely deterred by my reaction, I felt dejected. Bun let out a dry cough after his response to my question. He stared at a piece of paper in his left hand, a pen on the other. We were in the car, which was heading straight to the direction of the capital district. I was in the driver's seat. Sitting next to me in the front, Bun focused on listing the names and details of people who were involved in this case down the paper. Not because you wanted to. Wanted to have sex with me because you love me? Sex isn't love. Bun simply turned to me. His face was impassive. Just drive. I quickly returned my eyes to the road, obeying his command. His view on the concept of sex was cruel and straightforward, just like Bun, actually. What we did in the bedroom in that house kept playing over and over in my head. I simply couldn't erase it from my mind. I hated how he made me lose my mind and then iced me out as if nothing had happened when everything's over. Well, you said it yourself that I made you fall. If you don't drop it, I'll blow up your head. I'll blow your head off and throw your body out. Something told me he wasn't joking. How can you shoot me? I'm at a disadvantage here. You kiss me. Practically, you've exposed me to the flu. That's considered a clinical risk, you know? Then I hope you go into septic shock. I won't even bother to give you CPR once you go into cardiac arrest. Bun sighed softly before drawing a circle on the paper. I couldn't quite see what he was drawing, though. I was wondering if we should expose that Pert is still alive, then we help each other find incriminating evidence that he killed Jane and send him off to jail. Even though the police were involved at some point, I'm confident that they wouldn't be able to deny a promising piece of evidence. What about Paul and my father? If Pert is apprehended, those two would still be a threat to our lives. Ruthless debt collection, bribery, illegal gambling den, intimidation, assault, you name it. You only need to expose the illegal business of this family. Get their asses in jail. That includes my ass too, doesn't it? I'm Mr. Black, Mr. Odd's right hand, remember? I earned the nickname from a group of gangsters. I usually dressed all in black to protect my identity when I was on my family business. I don't think it's going to be that easy. The bail would be easy for them. And it will take literally forever for a court to make a ruling. Even if they did end up in prison, my father or my brothers would surely hire someone to hunt you down. This method isn't safe. I took a quick glance at Bun before I averted my gaze to the road. Since they've been using your mother to force you to work for them, you might be off the hook. Then again, that doesn't mean they'll let you live. Bun rested his head on the headrest, exhausted. To be honest, I have no clue what to do. Bun squeezed the paper and threw it towards the window frame. He stared as the ball of paper fell down at his feet. It's okay. We'll figure something out. At least you're safe for now. Thanks to my pseudo-side plan. I put my hand on Bun's shoulder, giving him moral support. But are you sure you want to go back to stay at my house? Yes, Bun said firmly. For all they know, Bunnikit is gone, just a wandering ghost. To kill tigers, we'll have to take it by surprise in their den. Feeling safe, they'll let their guards down. This way, we'd be able to work on our plan together without leaving a phone record to be detected. But it's dangerous. I know you'll keep me safe. Bun turned to look at me, right? My face felt significantly warmer. My heart almost melted into a puddle right on the driver's seat. Bun switched the pronouns that called Tan to be his name. And now he was asking me to protect him. Did I just hear him right? I didn't know why Bun chose to say it in such a seductive way, but one thing was certain. I found myself head over heels in love with him. Of course. Good. Bun turned his gaze back to the road. If you have any ideas, then spill. We'll weigh the pros and cons until we come up with the best laid plan. I went still for a few seconds, contemplating. You mentioned being a ghost earlier. How about we set up a ghost hoax? You dress up as a vengeful spirit and hunt Kurt and Paul until they shit their pants. Tell them they better turn themselves in or you'll drag them to hell or something. Bun exhaled a long sigh. Do you think this ghost is bulletproof if he happened to barge in front of those two? Throughout the journey, Bun and I discussed further about our plans for survival. Usually I was the one who came up with the plans because I was familiar with my family and had more information in my hands, while Bun was the one who weighed the pros and cons of each plan. I bought some sticky rice and local food from the roadside shop and parked under a tree by the side of the road to enjoy our meals. Bun, no doubt, was not a picky eater and ate the food I bought. Afterwards, we visited the district area to buy some medicine for Bun's fever. The two of us returned to the capital district after 40 minutes of driving. I pulled up in front of my house, now quiet, with no sign of passerbys or vehicles. I turned to look at Bun, who was fast asleep because of his fever. Bun. I shook Bun awake gently. I'll open the gate. You come out of the car once it's in the garage. Okay? Bun opened his eyes groggily. He looked exhausted. Once the car was in the garage, I quickly led Bun to my bedroom before someone outside could spot us. Bun's luggage that he had dropped while he was trying to escape remained at the same spot it had landed. I bent over to pick up his luggage and placed it at the end of the bed. Bun made a beeline for the bed and collapsed on it. He must have felt so exhausted that he wished he could just drop dead on the spot. Call Pert. Act normal. Just tell him you came back to the capital district after you buried my corpse somewhere, or whatever. And ask him where he is. Lure him out. Tell him the coast is clear and there will be no further investigation of Jane's death. Bun went into details of our plan with his eyes closed. Record your conversation on the other phone. Put him on speaker for me to hear too. Got it. I came to settle down at the edge of the bed, taking out the white smartphone and hit a record button. Then I took out my phone and dialed Pert, putting it on the speaker for Bun to hear. The hold music rang only a couple of times before someone picked up the call as if he had been waiting. Perth. Tan. Pert sounded extremely tired. I wondered what had happened to him. Where is Dr. Bun? My eyes widened and I turned to Bun, who immediately shot up from the bed. He stared at me nervously. He mouthed silently to encourage me to keep talking. What do you mean? Where is his body? Where did you bury him? Is it in the woods behind the warehouse? His voice sounded indeed strange. No, I buried him outside of town, in the woods. Pa once took us there to see the potential plot of lands to rent it out to farmers. I lied about the location. Yeah? Did you give him a fancy pose before you buried him? Where did that come from? I frowned. Look, I didn't have time for that. Someone could have run into me. Is that so? And then Pert let out a cold, mirthless laugh. How did you do it, I didn't know you had it in you to be this merciless. I take it you were trained that you can do absolutely anything now, yeah? You can kill someone now if you were told, am I right? I saw Bun mouthed soundlessly, just play along. Yeah, well, I had to. You do know I didn't have a choice but to follow Paul's orders. Besides, now you don't have to go to jail. Don't you like it? Paul ordered me to get rid of the key witness against you. No further investigation on Jane's death. Do you know why I wanted you to threaten Dr. Bun in the first place? To do anything? Death threats, torture, rape, anything I once told you to do? His voice grew harsh by the minutes. So that he didn't have to die like this. When Paul saw things had become so fucking complicated, he had Bun killed. He wouldn't have died if you'd just coerced him to forge the damn report in the first place. I sat motionless, stunned. Back then, I could recall that Pert had one only close friend, the one whom he always hung out with. I couldn't believe someone like Pert could bond with someone in this way. It's just a matter of time. We don't know if Paul would have just gone ahead and killed Dr. Bunn anyway. Pert elicited a growl frustratedly. Oh, but I will kill you for this, you son of a bitch. He probably called me with that vulgar name out of anger. Pert, calm down. I was just following orders. What's this got to do with me? I glanced at Bunn, who was frowning at the phone. Because you took the man I love from me. I gaped, stupefied. What? What? My head shot up to look at Bunn, whose eyes grew bigger at the moment. He covered his mouth with his hands as if he was trying not to let any noises slip through. You took him from me. Paul gave you an order and you followed it through. I'll kill you. I wasn't the one who wanted him dead. It's Paul. Why can't you understand that, damn it? Oh Christ, it's so hard to follow my half-brother's messed up logic. I was torn between my confusion at Pert's strange behavior and my anger and jealousy. The man who ordered someone to hurt Bunn had absolutely no right to claim that Bunn was his. I clenched my fists tightly without even realizing it. Anger coursed through my entire body. Bunn must have noticed my reaction because the next minute he grabbed my forearm and squeezed it hard. He inched his face closer and whispered in my ear, "Calm down." I had to keep it in mind that the victory was mine because Bunn was currently by my side, not his. Pert didn't even know that Bunn was still alive. You know what? This is also your fault. You ordered me to beat the shit out of Dr. Bunniket. How the hell was I supposed to know you guys were best friends? If I knew, I might have waited and sorted things without you first. Fuck you. If you really loved him, why did you hurt him? Why didn't you protect him? Bunn tugged my sleeves forcefully, looking at me with a disapproving gaze. Fuck me? Too late. I was utterly blinded by rage. Actually, yes. You're fucking despicable, Pert. You know what? The reason Dr. Bunn ended up like this was because of you, not me. Not Paul, it's you. It's your fault. If you hadn't killed Jane, Dr. Bunn wouldn't have been killed. I didn't think the last sentence reached Pert because Bunn snatched my phone away and ended the call. Without any warning, he landed his palm across my cheek, causing my steaming temper to abruptly turn off for a moment. Tan! Bunn fisted my collar and yanked me towards him. With my head bowed, I stood still, didn't fight him. I said, calm down. Now we don't have a clue where he is, and when he'll be back. Bunn hastily let go of my collar, taking a deep breath as if he was trying to cool down. There was one thing that still bothered me. Bunn's reaction when Pert mentioned him. Bunn, you like Perth, don't you? I asked. Please don't say yes. I was hoping that he would deny it. But nothing came, only silence. It was as if my heart shattered into a million pieces on the floor. Bunn stared at me for a long while before continuing. Whether I like him or not doesn't really matter right now. The point is, Pert didn't want me dead. We could use this against your oldest brother. Bunn was very calm and composed. His train of thoughts was running through his mind, unlike me. My brain was currently dull due to negative emotions. Sounds like Pert and Paul have conflicts over many things, am I right? Not to mention, Pert had killed someone because he lost control over himself. I think your involvement isn't necessary. Right now, we have Pert's confession about Jane and I in the audio recording. We have the advantage here. I could feel the burning sting begin to flare across my cheek. I cradled my temples. Never had I felt this awful in my entire life. Knowing that the person that I loved had feelings for the other man before me, I didn't have it in me to keep going. Especially when that said person was Pert. Now I felt more than disheartened. Tan. Bunn moved closer to me, his hands reaching out to touch my cheeks. The heat in his palms transferred to my body, helped me calm down to some extent. I know what we should do now. Pull yourself together and listen to me, please. I placed one of my hands over his. If we get through this, will you still be with me after this? Bunn offered me a faint smile. Where else could I be? The indescribable feelings overwhelmed my chest that I had to reach out and pull Bun into my arms. I didn't know whether he really meant it or not. It could be just a word to cheer me up, or just to use me, but even if this was just a pretense, I guessed I was a willing fool. I'm at your service. What do you want me to do? During the mysterious disappearance of Prosecutor Songsat, with an ongoing investigation, now comes another disappearance of the Provincial Hospital forensic physician on December 17th, 2015. The police received a missing person report about Dr. Bunnickett. The authorities had inspected the missing doctor's house. Signs of struggle were found. The police assumed it was a kidnap. However, they have collected evidence and blood samples for further DNA analysis. I grabbed the remote and turned off the television, reporting the news in the cram school's first floor. Bun's disappearance had become hot news as it occurred a few days after the disappearance of Pert. I was sitting on a bench where the students often sat waiting for their parents. I looked up at the ceiling, my mind drifted elsewhere. I was waiting for the last student sitting nearby to head home before I could close up the school for the day. A pair of headlights shone through the glass in the area. The teenage girl stood up. "Good night, Dr. Tan." She turned to me to pay respect in Thai style before running out. My eyes followed her back. Her parents came to pick her up at last. I got up and walked to the switch to turn off the lights. After this, I planned on stopping by the supermarket to buy food and medicine for Bun. I was really worried about him, but Bun strictly ordered me not to call him. "You mustn't use your phone to contact me. If your brothers come across your call history or text history, they may get suspicious. Also, when you're not home at night, keep the lights off," Bun instructed me. "The first thing you do is you go to your evening class as usual. Act like nothing has happened." I was about to switch off all the lights when I heard the front door open. I whipped my head to look at the visitor, a man. He was of an average build, dressing in a dark blue shirt and grey trousers. His hair was slightly wavy, his demeanor looked composed and formidable. He looked at me unwaveringly through the black framed glasses. His face looked vaguely familiar. "Are you Teacher Tan?" he asked in a deep baritone. "That will be me." I turned to the unknown visitor, skeptical and nervous. "Do you have questions for the courses?" "No," said the man. I started to sense some sort of foreboding dread. "If so, do you have something to see me about?" I pulled myself together as best as I could to handle the unexpected situation at hand. "Actually, yes. I have..." He remained silent for a while. "The staff at the hospital said that you are Dr. Bunnickett's friend. They have seen you guys hang out recently." My heart felt like it had stopped beating for a second. Who is this guy? Why is he asking me about Bun? "I took a couple of days off to look for my little brother. As soon as I heard that Bun had disappeared, I took a plane here from Bangkok," he went on calmly. "My name's Boonlert. I'm Bunnickett's brother."